All right, we live. X football,
You know,
February 17th. How's it going, everybody?
you know what it is. Ex football. I am body tired as hell watching the Olympics, but we gotta drop some content on you. Knowledge is always needed, even when tired.
No, that's true. Well, there's only one thing to talk about this week. Champions League is back.
I'm super excited. It's back. It's a fun competition. I just like the Champions League song since I was a kid, bro. It's like it always brings me back to like when I was young, man. Get all
Yeah,
excited and stuff, trying to watch it, watch the game quickly, go and mimic stuff. So it always bring back good memories. Some pretty good matchups to start it off this week. Watch which game? The only game I didn't watch is the Bayern Munich one, and it looks like they got shocked a little bit, and that wasn't a result people expected. So now we can touch on all of them and then go from there.
yeah. I'm a big fan of the Champions League. It's my favorite competition. Like, I'd rather watch Champions League than the World Cup. And people are like, oh, you crazy,
Yeah.
especially coming from I was born here in the US. My parents, Southern Sudanese. I don't really have a good national team to support. So watch the Champions League. I can support whoever I want. Big boys, little boys, underdogs, doesn't matter. And usually when you get to this time of the year, you get some fun games. So I'm always a big fan of the Champions League.
Bro,
Uh,
you crazy still, man. How you going to like Champions League more than the World Cup, man? What's wrong with you?
the it's every season, man, and it always provides good drama. World Cup is its own special thing. I enjoy watching that too, but Champions League guaranteed quality. Uh, so I thought the teams who played this week, or at least the matchups on paper, are much better than the ones we'll see next week. So this week we had Bayern Salzburg, Liverpool Inter, City Sporting, and then PSG and Real Madrid. And between all those clubs, the eight who played this week, I think one of those will be the winner. On the other side of things, you have Chelsea versus Lille, Juventus, Villarreal, Manchester United, Atletico Madrid, and then Benfica and Ajax. Although Ajax are 6-0, right? Perfect record so far.
Yeah.
I still think they haven't necessarily been tested, even though they beat Dortmund a couple times in the group stage. I'm not 100% convinced that they're good enough to go all the way. And so we'll see. Maybe they have a little surprise in their back pocket like they did in the, was it 17-18 season, making it all the way to the semis.
Yeah.
But I personally don't see that happening this time around. My favorites going into the round of 16 were City and Liverpool. Neither of them disappointed. City, sure, maybe one or two controversial calls, but it's still impressive nonetheless. I mean, going into like 60th minute, I turned it on for a few minutes when I was at work, and it didn't look like there was much going on there. And then Liverpool and Inter, that game actually started like, oof, man,
It's
I
a fun
couldn't
game
believe
to
it. I was
watch.
watching both teams going at it, pressing each other high up the field. Inter looked like they were doing like a man-to-man out of possession, which was a little bit crazy. But Klopp in the second half kind of saw that, so he brought Firmino on and then kept Jota on a little bit longer. And both of those players like to drop into the midfield, so they were starting to drag Inter out of positions, taking them places they didn't necessarily want to be for their center backs, and that eventually made the difference. I remember Shannon hit the post in the first half, but apart from that, I don't remember Inter creating too much danger. So yeah, 2-0 comfortable, but not necessarily totally convincing from Liverpool, but 7-0. So you can't really knock them right now. They had a pretty tough group too.
Yeah, I mean, the Liverpool game was fun to watch against Inter, but it's tough to I still don't think if you really look at the goals, they weren't goals that per se they broke Inter down. And I think that's where they'll run into issue. It's more the Salah one was like a rebound, knockdown, nobody paying attention, he kicked it in, right? I think those type of errors will be decreased each round that they go. So I personally, I don't think they can do it. City's looking pretty sharp, and I still think they're not even at 90% at this point. Like, how are they playing? But we know the history of Pep since Barcelona. He hasn't won it, so sooner or later he is going to win it. If it's not this year, in the next 3 years, this year and the next two, he will win it. His team is too good. If he has to buy it, that's what he'll do. He'll get more players in order to get over the line. I thought the PSG Real Madrid game was pretty interesting, and now from that performance, it looks like Real Madrid is now interested in Poch again. He started the season slow. A lot of people's like, he doesn't know what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. But I think whenever they play in Champions League, it shows like he can get around. The French league is a very difficult league because it's super, people say Premier League is fast and aggressive. French league is fast and aggressive.
Yeah.
The thing is that the styles are so different that you almost have to adjust every game. While as the Premier League, in my opinion, slowly is getting to what Spain is, where everybody's trying to play now. So if you have a base fundamentals, you should be able to use one game plan for the most part to play against the next team. While as the French league, man, everybody's doing their own thing. So you have to like adjust each game. But I thought that was a very good game. I was surprised that Real Madrid went to go for the 0-0 draw. That was a little bit shocking. Like my whole life, I don't think I've seen Real Madrid go somewhere and try and just get out of there with a draw and do it at home. So I think
the circumstances were a little bit against them. Benzema wasn't 100% fit. He still played. And I actually wasn't that shocked that they played a little bit more defensively. Sure, I think it was a little bit over the top. I think they still have enough talent in the midfield and up front that they could have tried to cause PSG some more trouble. But even when they played against Barcelona this season, I actually haven't been impressed with Real Madrid at all. And just because they get the result, people go, oh, yeah, Real Madrid, they beat Barcelona, they're better than them. I'm like, if you watch the game, Barcelona dominated the possession, right? Which sure, in a sense, you would expect, but everybody was talking about how bad Barcelona was, and I'm not just talking about Xavi's Barcelona. I'm also talking about Ronald Koeman's Barcelona. They still also dominated possession against Real Madrid. Real Madrid just sat back and then counterattacked. Sure, they did it well, but for me, you can't say that you're better than a team if you're going to defend and counterattack against them. You can get the result, but you can't at the end of the day go, yep, we're the better team. We're better than you. If you're better, you're going to go out there, you're going to dominate, stand attack, the game and have some authority, So I'm not that impressed with this Madrid team. And Kylian Mbappe, I think, silenced all the critics who thought, oh, he's going to sit back and take it easy against his future team, and every opportunity he got to go forward, he did so. So I thought that was pretty impressive, given all the pressure, still relatively young kid, handled it pretty well. And at the end of the day, he had his moment.
I mean, I still think Mbappe's, he reminds me of just a slightly better version of Rashford. Like he gets the ball, he's dribbling, he wants to attack every time, head down, push and chase. Maybe he's maybe a little bit trickier with the ball, but overall, I still think his game is limited and he's not improving it. Now, he won the genetic lotto, it's like for his age, speed, power, that stuff, you can't teach that. But we all know around 26, 27, that starts to die off. And I think you run into an issue is that he's too dependent on his speed. Because even if you look at the goal, it was just a simple push. And that was credit to him. He scored it under pressure, but that was horrific defending. That's like elementary defending. There were two players there plus a third for cover, and they just let him split them, like just a simple push. And I think it was a communication thing because after the goal, you can see they were kind of telling each other, I thought you were going to go, I thought you were going to go. So It was a good finish. He did well as in terms of going against Real Madrid, a club that's trying to buy him. So I'll give him credit for that. I just think that was some bad defending by Real Madrid, and their defense have been struggling. Side note, man, I think I have to label Messi that he's done too, like I label Ronaldo, man. The only difference is, man, Messi can come into the midfield and still link the passes. But boy, if we were to have access to his data, man, he normally walks, but this game he walked more than. There was one point Real Madrid had the ball in their box and PSG was trying to trap him, and Messi was just standing inside the box at the very top, like split the goal. And he literally stood there for like 15 seconds while Real Madrid was trying to pressure. Eventually, PSG was trying to pressure. Eventually, Real Madrid got out, and he just walked about his way like, screw this. So, unfortunately, Voodoo is not big in South America, but I think that guy might have sold his skill to win the Copa America, bro, because he's way too casual. Like, and age gets to everybody. It's not like when normally a lot of times when I say these things, people are like, you're being negative. But I'm like, dude, age gets to everybody. You can't cheat age. It doesn't matter if you have a 12-pack like Ronaldo. He can't hold up the ball. You just can't do it. Physically, you're going against people much younger, stronger, faster. Eventually, they'll show you up. Now, they'll still have like their moments where they'll, score their 2 goals or dominate a game, but it won't be consistent like they've done for 10 years. It was over 10 years. Yeah, 10 plus years they're at the top. That's not easy. Most of the time, when the player hits their peak, they're probably on there for like 3 years. Then they're done. Very few get to like 5 years, then they're done. If you look at Ronaldinho, name all of them. I think Zidane carried it on for quite a long time. Ronaldo and Ryan Giggs, I'll give him that. Messi, I'll give him that. But the majority of them, they don't stay like in their peak for more than 3-5 years. So unfortunately, we've seen 2 legends slowly coming to their end, in terms of playing. So we got to enjoy as much as we can, but we also have to be honest. If they have a bad game, we have to say they had a bad game. I don't care what you did last year,
Well, on the weekend, when Ronaldo missed that PK, everybody was having his lunch on social media. And then when Messi missed his, well, technically he didn't miss, it was saved. Now everybody was having his lunch yesterday on social media. So the expectation you can see is just so big whenever they fail at anything, people treat them like gods, like, oh, how did this guy make a mistake? It's not feasible. And of course, it makes one fan base. If you like Ronaldo, you get on Messi because he missed his PK. If you're in the Messi, bandwagon, you get on Ronaldo because he missed his PK. But as you can see in the past week or so, both human, both, as you say, not playing to their potential. So I think it'll be interesting. So let's just go over the other games that were played. We already talked about PSG, Real Madrid. I thought PSG was pretty impressive. And like you say, they've shown another, dimension, another gear in the Champions League this season under Poch. And I've actually really appreciated that. I think the balance is better, not perfect. I think their center backs are still very suspect.
Yeah.
But as far as going forward and holding the ball in the midfield, and then if you have your front 3 fit, Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, they're going to take some serious beating. And City, when they beat them, was in December, I think, early December.
Yeah.
That was, I think, as good as a game as PSG has gotten in a while.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think each round, I expect them to go by Real Madrid. And then each round they go, I think they'll get stronger because experience does matter. I think Messi will show up in the big games. I think Sergio Ramos, hopefully healthy enough, will make a big difference. Goalkeepers, both their goalkeepers are straight solid. I think their weakest spot is outside back. And then in the midfield, I personally think it should be Verratti. Man, that guy, for me, he's like top class that nobody talks about because it's in the French league. But if I were them, as they move on, I'll play Verratti and then bring somebody else in. I don't like the Portuguese guy. What's his name? He plays.
Paredes.
No, no, not Paredes. What's his name?
Oh, Danilo.
Danilo. He plays way too slow for me and for his size and everything. He doesn't really engage. So I'll probably like Ghana. I got to bring him in or somebody next to Verratti. And then when they get to the next round, what I would do personally, this is me speaking. Obviously, I'm not at that level for coaching, but I'll play Verratti and somebody else outside of Danilo, and then I'll play Messi as the number 10, and I'll actually have Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar. I'll have those, and I'll tell everybody else just maybe one of you move up and help, because if you really think about it, what's his name on their right back is pretty much attacking all the time.
Hakimi, yeah.
Yep, that's an extra attacker. And then so that's what I think. They have the players earlier in the season when I was watching them. You can see the chemistry wasn't really there, but now every time you watch them, it looks better and better. And with Neymar coming back, I think it becomes harder. Now people say, oh yeah, they haven't been scoring a lot. I'm like, they haven't been scoring a lot because Neymar has been gone. Like what Neymar does is he has the vision to make that creative pass that nobody would make. Look at the pass he gave to Mbappe. Nobody else would have tried that for that goal, right? So even though in the game before Neymar came in, PSG was dominating, but they went in like really, really dangerous positions. The best they could do in terms of it's like a quick 1-2, Mbappe trying to do a quick 1-2 or something. And that's similar to what I always say about people. It's like Neymar can score more goals if he wanted to, but he plays soccer for fun.
Yeah.
So it's similar to Pogba. I know United played on Tuesday and it was in Champions League, but they were struggling for 80 minutes, 60 minutes. Pogba coming 20 minutes. All of a sudden, United creating chances. He's playing passes that nobody even sees. So these type of players, you have to take like their defensive weaknesses and go, you know what? I'm gonna find another donkey to do that work and just let them be. Nah, it's facts, man. Not everybody can be prom queen, bro.
That's true.
You know, when you coach sports and you tell people that go, oh, I should be the one, I go, dude, you have 11 players on the field. All of you cannot be that guy or that girl. It's just the way it is. Everybody should do their part. And then some players get the freedom. So, but
yeah,
no, it was a fun game.
My favorite or my best PSG midfield would be Verratti next to Wijnaldum, because I think he has the engine, the technical ability, and he can actually get forward. He's also played the holding role a few times for Liverpool and the Netherlands. So if they switch off, so maybe a few minutes, they're both there, a few minutes, one of them's there, one of them attacks more, and then they switch off. I think that's a pretty good balance. The only difference I have from you is instead of playing Messi as the 10, I would play Di Maria as the 10. Because I don't want any weakness in my midfield, you know.
That's true.
If we can set off teams a little bit up front, I'll have Messi play as the false 9, Mbappe one side, Neymar on the other, and they can switch as they want. But Messi would have as that focal point, because if you give teams, you know, 2v1s or no pressure in wide areas, and you're playing against, like, let's say Liverpool, Messi's playing on the right side, pretending to cut into the middle. Robertson's going to have a field day. Nobody's tracking him. He's just going to keep running up and down that line, you know? So as they go further in the competition, I think having Messi in the wide areas will hurt them, and then also having him in the middle will hurt them. So the only spot you can play for me is as a false 9, and you say, okay, we're not going to press your center backs.
Which is fine, you know? I'd rather have Neymar and Mbappe wide anyway, so that works. But my thing is, every game they play, I expect them to score at least one. So then the question is, will the opponent be able to score at least one on them, minimum? So just to get a tie. So I think they will be tougher to beat. I do like the keepers. I think we don't talk about that enough, but that does make a difference, you know. So
all right, Bayern Salzburg. So Bayern, a little bit shocked.
Man, did you see that, man? Don't even go before you even start, man. Did you see this? people, Aronson, people trying to claim that assist, man. The guy was literally tripping. The ball hit his toe and they scored. And like, yeah, he got the assist to almost beat Bayern Munich. I'm like, man, this country, man, we just pulling for straws, man. Like every little thing we want to take credit. I'm like, that's not a freaking assist, man.
No, it looked like it like bounced off like the bottom of his cleat or something
Yep.
and just landed into the striker's path, which is fine. You take the goals you can get, but like you say, you can't claim like, oh, what a great touch or flick on or anything like that. Like there's no way that was a purposeful touch
No
at
way.
all. And Bayern were, I would say, very dominant. They were very wasteful of a lot of their opportunities as well. And it almost looked like Nagelsmann was trying to be too smart, kind of like Pep does when he gets to the finals or the semifinals and tinkering around a little bit too much. So it looked like they played a 3-5-2 for most of that game. And usually they don't start that way. A lot of the times they started in a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. And as they kind of transition into attack, you see kind of more of a 3 in the back. But it looked like they tried to just start that way from the get-go. And Salzburg adjusted very well. Every time they won the ball, you'd see forwards and wingers splitting off wide into the channels and hitting long balls to those players. And they're 1v1. And they had some pace to work with. So it was actually made for a very interesting counterattack situation all game for Bayern to deal with. So I thought that was overplayed from Nagelsmann and well played by Salzburg. But I very much see Nagelsmann in the second leg going, all right, you know what? Fuck this. We're going to just do our thing. 4-2-3-1. Everybody play their positions, fuck them up. 2, 3, maybe even 4-goal victory for Bayern.
Yeah, when you get to this stage, man, you can't mess around, man. As Jose Mourinho and Porto, that when people are messing around, he gets 1 goal, he goes back home, freaking parks a bus and a ship and everything, spacecraft and a Tesla on top of it, you know. So for me, when you get to these games, I get it. Bayern Munich was away, they got the 1 goal. But man, if the opponent is supposed to be less, you're more superior than them, do what City did, man. Get the goals right away, kill their spirit so they don't even want to show up for the next round, you know. Now they come for the next round, they go, you know what? If we get the first goal again, we defend with the rest of our lives, we get out of there with one of the greatest victories ever, you know. Sporting going to City is like, oh yeah, we need to score 6 goals. Sure, that'll never happen. So they're already defeated before the event even starts. So
yeah,
that's what I didn't like with the chances they were creating, because they did create chances, but it was kind of like, yeah, we can score anytime we want. Even if we don't do it here, we do it on the return leg. And I guess we shall see, but I never liked that approach. So
yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of that either. So let's look ahead at next week's games. The first one, Benfica versus Ajax. Who do you like in that one?
that's not the first one this week. Oh, you just want, I got you. Benfica versus Ajax. I think Ajax goes through no problem. They should get the results. They're away, but I think they're pretty strong. They'll run into their issues against the bigger clubs. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like Ajax in that one as well. Not that they're necessarily, anything out of this world, but they're comfortably first place in their league, ahead by 5 points, I think it is, over PSV. So they're almost in cruise control that way. They can rest players. Benfica, I think, is third in the Portuguese league, so they, might need to balance other priorities. So I think we both got Ajax pretty comfortable in that one over 2 legs. United and Atletico Madrid. That's a tough one.
Yeah, man, these freaking idiots, man, they'll give me a heart attack, man. United, as always, they mess me up. But no, I actually do. I think United, I think in Champions League, they're a little bit better suited for Champions League than they are for league. Similar to what I said about Chelsea. Atletico Madrid has given up a lot of goals. Champions League suits what Ronaldo is today. The speed of play is a little bit slower, just like international games. So I think he should be able to he should be able to do something in that. And then getting Pogba back is huge. So I think United will, and this part, it's more like because I like United, but I think United will just squeeze through, to be honest with you. I think they'll get the results and eventually go through, and then they'll get smack up the next round.
Yeah, I think United, not because of anything they're doing, but because of Atletico Madrid's poor form. And like you mentioned, the recent lack of ability to defend, United has a pretty good chance. But I still think Atletico has enough strength and power that they'll just bully their way past United. So I can see the first game being like a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw, and then Atletico winning the next one 1-0 and just having that be it.
Yeah, I can see that. Can never put it past Simeone, man.
Nope. Juve, Villarreal. Who do you like in that one?
That's a tough one. I think both are not the strongest right now. I'll take Juve on just experience. Villarreal, they haven't been playing bad. They having a pretty good season, but they have fallen off a little bit the past couple matches. So I think Juventus just on experience will push through, and then I think they'll probably die off the following round also.
Yeah. No, I like Juve in that matchup. I think they're in better form domestically. And like you said, the experience, they're a little bit better suited for this competition than Villarreal is. They've got a little bit of depth to work with off the bench as well. Villarreal, it's pretty much their starting 11. If they can't get it done, they can't get it done. And then the last matchup, Chelsea-Lille. I think it's trickier, I think, than most
Yeah,
people think.
I think so too. Chelsea should go through, but it won't be as easy as maybe on paper it looks. They're just coming back from Dubai also. So they got 3-4 games there in about a week. And then coming back, obviously they're giving the players some time off. They'll play this weekend. But I think the form that they've had in the league, I think will continue for a while. We'll see how big out of it, but I just don't see enough goals out of Chelsea. That's where my biggest concern is you can score against them, but they're not scoring at the rate that you would expect them to score. And I think their decision to bring Lukaku back was the worst decision they could have made. I think Havertz, again, this past weekend, he got a PK, but he had a very good game in that final. He might not get you a lot of goals, but his impact, what he does helps way more players do what they want to do than just a goal. It's similar to what Firmino does, and people still like kind of slag him off, like how he's only scored 1 goal the whole year. I'm like, he's been hurt, but these type of players, what they do impact way more than you might see. So I don't think they have enough goals in them, but at the same time, nobody can score against them too. So I think they'll get through this run, and then if they get through this run, is they play Juventus or Villarreal, or
no, they redraw.
They'll redraw. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we'll see. But I think next round they'll probably get slapped up. And then that'll be the end of their time, and the coach might get fired, man. That owner don't fuck around, bro.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting. Lille are actually in 10th in Liga right now, and people might think that's, not good enough, but there's actually only 6 points separating third from 11th in Liga. So that's 2 games, if anything. So yes, their form hasn't been very consistent this year, but like with other teams, you try to balance your league duties and your other competitions. Most teams tend to prioritize Champions League as something they want to go after, have their best players ready for the biggest stage. So I'm certainly looking forward to that one. I don't think the games next week will be as good as this one, but they actually might even be better because the teams are a little bit closer as far as their skill level. So who knows? We could see some big score lines next week.
Yeah. No, I'm glad Champions League is back. There's still some league games happening midweek while Champions League is going on. So I might have to get a full screen, man. You know, I have two plus a laptop, so I've been watching 3 games at a time. Might need that fourth one the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have on the show for today. Uh, like always, please share, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. The knowledge is free, but the effort, the time to put the show together, it cost us a little bit of energy. So please, 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 free to subscribe. Please do so. We appreciate any feedback or conversation that you guys want to start here on AX Football.
Thank you, as always. I am Body, dropping knowledge, the usual stuff. Make sure you subscribe. We'll keep bringing stuff out. And then soon, hopefully we can get to some live shows where we can get people to interact and all that stuff, share your ideas. Our opinions are not final. You have your opinion, you still be wrong, but at least we'll let you say it, you know. Thank you all.
All right. This is Rick, AX Football. We out of here.
Peace.